"Don't make me look bad at my cousin's wedding," she warned. Then tried kicking me from our table so her best friend could sit with her family instead. I left without a word. By the time I hit the parking lot, she'd already left 7 voicemails. "Hey Reddit, need to get this off my chest because even months later, I'm still processing how blind I was to what was happening right in front of me. At the time, it felt like getting sucker punched. Now, it's almost funny how obvious all the signs were. But painful lessons stick with you, and this one definitely stuck. I'm 28 male, an IT consultant for a mid-sized tech firm here in the Pacific Northwest. Nothing glamorous. I troubleshoot network issues, manage cloud migrations, help companies not lose their minds when their systems crash at 2 a.m. Steady paycheck, good benefits, the kind of career your parents nod approvingly at during holiday dinners. I've always been the reliable guy. Show up on time, get the job done, don't cause drama, keep my head down, and deliver results. That personality carried over into relationships too. When I commit, I'm all in. No half measures, no keeping my options open, just full dedication to making things work. My girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, Nicole, 27 female, is a graphic designer. We'd been together for 2 years, and for the last year we'd been living in this cozy apartment downtown. Place had exposed brick walls, big windows overlooking the city, the whole trendy aesthetic she loved showing off on social media. From day one, I thought we were building something real. The kind of relationship where you can see the whole future mapped out. Engagement ring by year 3, house with a yard by year 5, maybe kids down the line when we were both ready. I'd even started a savings account specifically for a ring, putting away a few hundred every month because I wanted to do it right when the time came. Looking back, I was the only one drawing that map. She was just along for the ride, keeping her real options open the whole time. When we first started dating, Nicole had just lost her freelance gig. Some startup that burned through their venture capital funding and ghosted all their contractors overnight. She'd been designing their entire brand identity, website, marketing materials, social media templates, and they owed her almost $4,000 when they disappeared. No warning, no final payment, just radio silence. She was stressed, broke, and panicking about rent. The eviction notice came 2 weeks after we started dating officially. Talk about bad timing. I didn't even hesitate. I covered her portion of rent for 3 months straight while she got back on her feet. That was $1,800 a month, so $5,400 total. But who's counting? I told myself it was an investment in our future together. Helped her redesign her portfolio website too, spending my evenings and weekends learning basic web design so I could help implement her vision. Connected her with some contacts I had through work. Our marketing department was always looking for freelancers, and I put in a good word. Even drove her to interviews when her car was acting up, waiting in parking lots for hours while she pitched herself to potential clients. The car situation was another thing. Her Honda had this ongoing transmission issue that she couldn't afford to fix. I took it to a mechanic friend who gave me a huge discount, covered half the $800 repair myself because she was already stressed about money. Thought I was being supportive, building trust, showing her I was reliable when life got hard. She eventually landed a decent position at a small agency downtown, and everything seemed perfect. Started bringing home a regular paycheck, could cover her own expenses again, and the stress lines around her eyes started fading. We fell into this comfortable routine. Sunday morning pancakes that I'd make while she slept in. Movie nights on the couch with takeout from her favorite Thai place. Planning little weekend trips to nearby towns. I thought I'd found my person, the one who'd appreciate all the effort, who'd recognize what it meant to have a partner who showed up consistently. But here's the thing about being the steady, reliable guy. You become invisible. You're the foundation everyone stands on without noticing it's there. And when someone more exciting walks by, you're suddenly boring by comparison. You become the safe option, the backup plan, the person who's always there, so why worry about keeping them happy? Enter Tyler. Tyler was Nicole's best friend from college. They'd met in some marketing class their sophomore year and stayed close ever since. Sales guy at a tech company, the kind who could sell ice to someone living in the Arctic. Always had that practiced charm, the quick smile that never quite reached his eyes, the confident handshake that lasted just a beat too long. His social media was an endless highlight reel. Weekend getaways to wine country, networking events at trendy downtown venues, photos with what seemed like hundreds of friends. The guy collected people like trading cards, always adding to his network. I first met Tyler about 3 months into dating Nicole. We were at this group dinner, her college friends reunion thing at an upscale restaurant downtown. He showed up late, made a grand entrance, worked the table like he was running for mayor, shook everyone's hand, remembered everyone's names immediately, had that magnetic energy that drew attention. I could see why people liked him. He was entertaining, told great stories, made everyone feel included in the conversation. But there was something off about how he interacted with Nicole. Too familiar, too comfortable. The kind of body language that suggested history I wasn't being told about. He'd touch her arm when making a point, lean in close when she talked, finish her sentences. When I asked her about it later that night, she laughed it off. Tyler's like that with everyone. He's just touchy-feely. It doesn't mean anything. Nicole swore up and down that their relationship was completely platonic. Tyler's like a brother to me, Blake. You're being paranoid. But I'd watch her face light up when his name appeared on her phone. That special smile she'd get, the one that used to be reserved for me. They'd hang out one-on-one for coffee, lunch, networking sessions, since they were both in creative fields. More often than I was comfortable with, honestly. At least twice a week, sometimes more. I'd bring it up carefully, never accusing, just expressing how I felt. She'd brush me off every time with the same script. You're too insecure. Tyler and I have history that goes back years. That doesn't mean anything romantic is happening. Don't you trust me? And that was the knife twist, right? Framing it as a trust issue. Making me the bad guy for having completely reasonable concerns about her spending more time with him than with me. The comparison started subtly, like poison dripped slowly into water, after a work party where I'd hung back while she mingled. Because honestly, I hate those forced networking situations where everyone's fake smiling and pretending to care about each other's quarterly reports. She said, Tyler's so good at working a room. He just knows how to connect with people. You should try talking to more people instead of hiding by the snack table. A few weeks later, after I'd planned this nice dinner date at a restaurant she'd mentioned wanting to try, why can't you be more spontaneous? Tyler surprised me with concert tickets last week. He knows I love indie bands and just bought them without overthinking it. You always have to plan everything 3 weeks in advance. Never mind that I'd made reservations 3 weeks in advance because the restaurant was always booked solid. Never mind that Tyler's spontaneous concert tickets probably came from his company's client entertainment budget. The comparison was made, and I was found lacking. Each comment was a small cut, but they added up. Death by 1,000 paper cuts, they call it. She'd critique my clothes. Tyler always looks so put together. Maybe you should invest in better jeans. My conversation skills. You tell the same work stories. Tyler always has something new and exciting to share. Even my hobbies. Gaming is kind of immature, don't you think? Tyler spends his free time at art galleries and wine tastings. The thing about Tyler is that he was living a completely different life. No steady girlfriend, no responsibilities beyond his job, probably making twice what I made with that sales commission structure. Of course he could be spontaneous and drop money on random concert tickets. Of course he had time for art galleries on Tuesday afternoons. He wasn't building a relationship or saving for a future. He was living for the moment. But Nicole couldn't see that. Or wouldn't see it. Then there were the social media posts. Pictures of her and Tyler at coffee shops, art galleries, restaurant openings, weekend farmers markets. Captions like, best adventures with my favorite person, with star emojis and inside jokes I didn't understand. This one gets me, with photos of them laughing at something off camera. Some people just make life better, with candid shots where they looked like a couple. Meanwhile, I'd be at home making dinner, doing laundry, handling the boring maintenance of adult life, or working late to cover the bills that somehow always fell primarily to me. She'd pay her share, but never seemed to have money for extras. So guess who covered date nights, weekend trips, that new laptop she needed for work? No mentions of me on her social media, no tags, like I didn't exist. I was the private boyfriend, the one you don't show off. Tyler was the public companion, the one worth posting about. I swallowed it all. Told myself I was being paranoid, insecure, too jealous. That's what she said constantly. So it must be true, right? If I just tried harder, was more like Tyler, maybe she'd appreciate me more. Maybe she'd post about me, brag about me, look at me the way she looked at him. Wrong. The breaking point came with her cousin's wedding. It was supposed to be this big family event. Outdoor ceremony at a vineyard about an hour outside the city. Fancy reception with string lights and a live band. Nicole had been buzzing about it for weeks. She was close with her cousin Emma, and this was her chance to show off to the extended family. I was excited too. I'd met her parents and siblings a few times and gotten along well with them. Her dad and I would talk about vintage cars. He restored them as a hobby, and I'd always been fascinated by the work. Her mom once told Nicole I was a keeper, which made me feel like I'd passed some test. I rented a sharp suit, got the couple a thoughtful gift, a custom photo album with spots for wedding memories. Nicole said they'd love it, and even looked up some dance moves because Nicole was always complaining I was too stiff on the dance floor. But as the wedding day approached, Nicole got weird. She started snapping at everything. I suggested a tie that matched her dress. Don't wear that, it looks too formal. I offered to drive. No, I want to be in control of our schedule. Little things that individually meant nothing but created this constant tension. And Tyler was going to be there. Of course he was. His family's friends with Emma's family, Nicole explained when I asked. It would be weird if he wasn't invited. Fine, whatever. I could handle one day with Tyler being Tyler. The morning of the wedding, Nicole was glued to her phone while getting ready. Constant giggling, quick typing, that telltale smile. I glanced over her shoulder once. Tyler was sending her memes about weddings. Bride or hostage, one read, showing someone with their hands behind their back. Nicole thought it was hilarious. I let it go. Pick your battles, right? We drove to the venue in relative silence, Nicole checking her appearance in every reflective surface we passed. The ceremony was genuinely beautiful. Emma looked stunning, the vows were heartfelt, and Nicole actually held my hand the whole time. For a moment, I thought maybe I'd been overthinking everything. The cocktail hour after the ceremony is when things started sliding sideways. Nicole pulled me aside near the bar, away from the clusters of guests mingling. Her tone shifted from happy to serious, almost condescending, like she was about to explain something to a child who wasn't quite getting it. Blake, listen, she said, glancing around to make sure no one was within earshot. Don't embarrass me tonight, okay? This is really important to my family. I blinked. Embarrass you? What are you talking about? She sighed, like I was already proving her point. You know what I mean. Tyler's really good at mingling. He knows how to charm people, keep conversations interesting. You're more quiet, which is fine. But tonight I need you to just blend in. Don't monopolize conversations with boring work stuff. The words hit me like cold water. Boring work stuff? You mean my job? The one that's paid for half of everything we've done for the past 2 years? Don't be dramatic. I'm just saying IT stories don't exactly light up a party. Tyler has these hilarious sales anecdotes that people love. Just let him take the lead when we're with my aunts and uncles, okay? I should have said something right then. Should have asked why she was comparing me to Tyler again. Should have pointed out that she'd spent the last 2 weeks gushing about how excited her parents were to see me. Instead, I swallowed it. Sure, whatever makes you happy. The reception started, and we headed inside to find our assigned seats. Nicole had shown me the seating chart weeks ago. We were at table 2 with her immediate family. Parents, brother, sister-in-law, and Nicole's favorite aunt. Prime spot, right near the dance floor, center of everything. I was actually looking forward to it. Her dad had promised to tell me about this '67 Mustang he was working on, and her mom always asked about my work in that genuinely interested way that made you feel heard. I was chatting with her mom about a new project at work when Nicole urgently waved me over. Tyler was standing next to her, looking sharp in his suit, that practiced grin plastered on his face. Blake, babe, Nicole said, her voice that carefully controlled tone that meant she was about to ask for something she knew I wouldn't like. There's been a mix-up with the seating. I looked at the place cards on table 2. My name was right there between Nicole and her dad. Mix-up? Yeah, so Tyler was supposed to be at table 8 in the back. And that's just terrible. He doesn't know anyone there, and honestly, he'll be bored out of his mind. She touched my arm, trying for reassuring. Would you mind switching with him? He'd fit in so much better here with my family. They love him. And you're more introverted anyway, so you won't mind being at a quieter table, right? I stared at her. Then at Tyler, who was doing this humble shrug thing like he was embarrassed by the whole situation, but wouldn't mind if I agreed. You want me to give up my seat at your family's table? I said slowly. So Tyler can sit there instead? At your cousin's wedding? Where I'm your date. Nicole's expression shifted to exasperation. Don't make this a thing, Blake. Come on. Tyler's outgoing. He'll keep conversation flowing. You're more laid back. It's just dinner. A couple of hours. It's not like I'm asking you to leave the wedding. The casual cruelty of it was stunning. We were standing 10 feet from her parents, who could clearly see this conversation happening. Her brother was watching curiously from the table. This wasn't some private discussion. She was publicly demoting me. Plus, Nicole added, seeing my hesitation, Tyler's been going through a rough breakup. He could really use the family atmosphere tonight. You understand, right? Don't be selfish about this. There it was. Not only was I supposed to give up my seat, but refusing would make me selfish. And she'd thrown in Tyler's breakup like that justified everything. I looked at Tyler again. He was doing this sympathetic head tilt, like we were bros about to do each other a solid. No hard feelings, man, he said. If it's too weird, I can just deal with table 8. But Sarah's family is pretty great, so... Sarah. He called her Sarah. Her actual first name that only family used. Nicole went by her middle name with everyone else. The casual intimacy of it confirmed what I'd been trying not to see for months. Blake, seriously, Nicole pressed, crossing her arms. Don't make this awkward. It's my cousin's wedding. This is about family. Tyler's practically family at this point. You'll survive a couple hours at a different table. Stop being difficult. I felt this weird calm wash over me. All the little comments, the comparisons, the social media posts, the constant feeling of being second choice. It all crystallized into clarity. If that's how you feel, I said quietly, then enjoy the evening. I turned and walked away. Didn't wait for a response. Didn't make a scene. Just headed straight for the exit, weaving through the tables of guests who were finding their seats. I could hear Nicole calling after me, but I didn't stop. Blake! Blake! Wait! Where are you going? I kept walking. Through the reception hall, past the ceremony site, across the parking lot to where I'd parked my car that morning. My hands were steady as I unlocked the door and got in. The silence inside the car was deafening. I sat there for a moment, processing what had just happened. Then I started the engine and drove home. My phone started buzzing before I even hit the highway. Texts, calls, voicemails piling up. I put it on silent and focused on the road. By the time I pulled into my apartment complex, I had 7 missed calls from Nicole and a string of texts from her friends. I didn't read them. Just parked, went inside, changed out of my suit, and sat on the couch in the quiet apartment. My dog, Buddy, a 3-year-old golden retriever mix I'd adopted before meeting Nicole, came over and put his head on my knee. He could always tell when something was wrong. Just you and me, Buddy, I said, scratching behind his ears. He'd never liked Nicole much anyway. Dogs know. I finally checked my voicemails around 10 p.m. 7 of them, each more frantic than the last. First one, left about 20 minutes after I'd walked out. Blake, where did you go? This is ridiculous. Come back. We need to talk about this. Second one, okay, I'm sorry if I upset you, but you're making this way bigger than it needs to be. Can you please just come back? Third one, Blake, my mom is asking where you went. What am I supposed to tell her? That you threw a tantrum over a seating arrangement? Fourth one, her voice cracking now. I don't understand why you're being like this. Tyler said maybe I was too harsh, but I didn't mean it the way it came out. Please just answer your phone. Fifth one, this is so unfair. You're ruining my cousin's wedding by making me worried and upset. Everyone's asking questions. Can you please just call me back? Sixth one, fine, be immature, but we need to talk about this. I'm serious. Call me. Seventh one, left around 9 p.m., her voice thick with tears. Blake, please. I messed up, okay? I see that now. I didn't mean those things. Just please talk to me. I'm sorry. I deleted them all without responding. The next morning, I woke up to 47 new text messages. Most were from Nicole, but several were from her friends and even her brother. Nicole's messages were a roller coaster. I can't believe you just left me there. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was? My family thinks you're crazy. Then shifting to, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said those things. Can we please just talk? I miss you. Her friend Jordan, someone I'd met maybe 3 times, sent me a long message about how Nicole was devastated and I should give her a chance to explain. Her brother sent, Dude, my sister's crying nonstop. Family's pretty upset with her too, but come on, don't ghost. Let's grab lunch and hash it out. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I did something I'd been putting off. I looked at Nicole's social media, pulled up her Instagram, her Facebook, everything. Started scrolling back through the past year. The pattern was stark. Photos with Tyler at events, coffee shops, restaurants, dozens of them. Captions talking about adventures and best times. Meanwhile, photos of us together, maybe 5 in the past 6 months. And in those, I was always partially cropped out or in the background. Her relationship status on Facebook? It still said in a relationship, but didn't tag me. I'd never noticed before. I spent the rest of that Sunday deep cleaning my apartment, doing laundry, organizing closets, anything to keep my hands busy while my brain processed. Buddy followed me from room to room, clearly confused by the sudden burst of activity. Monday morning, I went to work like normal. Threw myself into a network upgrade project that had been dragging. My coworkers noticed I was quieter than usual, but no one pried. That's one thing I appreciate about working in IT. People respect your space. Nicole called 3 times during work hours. I declined each one. That evening, she showed up at my apartment. I was making dinner, just pasta, nothing fancy, when I heard her key in the lock. She still had a key from when she'd been staying over multiple nights a week before we moved in together. The door opened and she walked in, looking exhausted. Eyes red, makeup smudged like she'd been crying. She stopped when she saw me in the kitchen, Buddy immediately positioning himself between us. "We need to talk," she said. "You should leave." "Blake, please, I made a mistake. The seating thing was stupid. I was stressed about the wedding and I wasn't thinking clearly." She took a step closer. Buddy growled softly, something he'd never done before. "Tyler's just a friend. He doesn't mean anything. You have to know that." "Give me your key," I said. She blinked. "What? Your key? To my apartment. Give it to me." "You're being dramatic. Key. Now." Her face crumpled. "You can't be serious. Over one fight? Blake, we've been together 2 years. We've built a life. You built a fantasy where I'm the backup plan," I interrupted. "The safe option while you keep Tyler in your orbit. I'm done being second choice." "That's not true. I chose you. I'm here, aren't I? Because Tyler didn't work out. He's your friend, right? Practically family. So why isn't he here comforting you?" She flinched. "That's not fair. Give me the key, Nicole. I'm not asking again." She pulled the key from her purse and set it on the counter with shaking hands. "I love you," she said quietly. "No, you don't. You love what I provide. There's a difference. Blake, I need you to leave." She stood there for another moment, tears streaming down her face, then turned and left. The apartment felt larger once she was gone. Over the next few weeks, Nicole's attempts to contact me escalated into what can only be described as a full-scale campaign. She used different phone numbers, burner apps, friends' phones, even her mom's landline once. I blocked each one as they came, maintaining my boundaries like I was defending a fortress. The calls came at all hours. 7 a.m. before work, lunch breaks, late at night when she probably figured I'd be tired and vulnerable. Each time from a different number. Each time the same desperate energy. I started just rejecting unknown numbers entirely, figuring if it was important, they'd leave a message. Her mom called me at work somehow. Got past our receptionist, Jen, by claiming to be a client with an urgent network emergency. Jen patched her through to my desk, and suddenly I'm hearing Janet's voice, sharp with accusation. "Blake, this is ridiculous. Nicole's a complete wreck. She made a mistake with the seating thing, but ending a 2-year relationship over that? You're being childish. Come over for dinner this weekend. We can sort this out like adults. Michael wants to talk to you too." The manipulation was impressive, calling me childish while simultaneously trying to minimize what Nicole had done, as if publicly humiliating your partner at a family wedding was just a seating thing that mature people should overlook. "With all due respect, Janet, your daughter showed me exactly what she thinks of me. I'm moving on." "Moving on? After everything she's been through? You know she's been struggling with anxiety about the future. Tyler was just being friendly, trying to help her feel comfortable. I appreciate the call, but I'm hanging up now." She tried arguing, her voice rising, but I disconnected and immediately walked to reception. Jen looked apologetic. "I'm so sorry, Blake. She sounded really frantic about a server issue." "Not your fault. Can you screen any calls from that area code going forward? If they call back, tell them I'm unavailable and take a message." "Absolutely. Want me to add a note to your contact list?" "Please." Nicole's aunt found me on social media and sent a long message about family loyalty and forgiveness. About how blood is thicker than water, and I shouldn't be the villain in this story. About how Nicole had always been sensitive and needed support from the people who loved her. The message was 3 paragraphs long and essentially argued that being family meant never holding anyone accountable for their actions. The irony was thick. I was somehow the villain for having self-respect, for refusing to accept being treated as less than in front of people who supposedly cared about me. The mental gymnastics required to frame my boundary setting as villainy was Olympic level. I didn't respond to the aunt, just took a screenshot for my records and blocked her too. Every interaction was getting documented in a folder on my computer, just in case this escalated further and I needed proof of harassment. My coworker Dennis, who sat in the cube next to mine, noticed I was getting more calls than usual. "Everything okay, man? You've been rejecting a lot of calls lately. Ex-girlfriend drama. She's not handling the breakup well." Dennis, who'd been through his own messy divorce 3 years ago, just nodded. "Document everything. If she shows up here, don't engage. Get security involved immediately. These situations can escalate fast." His warning proved prophetic. The harassment peaked when Nicole showed up at my apartment again about 10 days after the wedding. This time, I didn't let her in. She pounded on the door for 20 minutes, alternating between pleading and sobbing. I sat on the couch with Buddy, who was whining softly, clearly distressed by the noise. "Blake, I know you're in there. Please, just open the door. I messed up so bad. Tyler was a mistake. He ditched me right after the wedding. Said I was too emotional and clingy. You were right about him. You were right about everything. Please, let's just talk. We can go back to how things were. How things were. Me as the stable backup while she kept her options open. Me as the provider who wasn't exciting enough to post about. Me as the embarrassment who needed to blend in while Tyler charmed everyone. No thanks. I waited her out. Eventually she left, but not before my neighbor from across the hall, an older woman named Mrs. Henderson who'd always been friendly, knocked gently. Blake, dear, is everything all right? Should I call someone? I opened the door a crack, making sure Nicole was really gone. I'm fine, Mrs. Henderson. Just some relationship drama. She's gone now. If she comes back and you're uncomfortable, you call me. I'll call building security. Young women can be just as much trouble as young men when they don't get their way. I appreciated her pragmatic approach. Thank you. I might take you up on that. How things were. Me as the stable backup while she kept her options open. No thanks. I waited her out. Eventually she left. I immediately called my landlord and asked about changing the locks. He was understanding and had someone out the next day. A week later, the calls shifted from desperate to angry. You think you can just ignore me? Her voice was sharp, bitter. After everything I put up with? Your boring routine, your safe little life. I chose you anyway, and this is how you repay me? Tyler was a mistake, but you're being absolutely ridiculous. How dare you block me everywhere? You need to grow up and face this. We need to settle things. The mental gymnastics were Olympic level. She'd treated me like an embarrassment, publicly demoted me, compared me to Tyler constantly, but somehow I was the problem for walking away. I saved that voicemail, just in case I needed evidence later. Her final attempt came via a long email, sent at 2 a.m. based on the timestamp. It was rambling, pages long, trying to rewrite history. She admitted Tyler had crossed some boundaries, but blamed stress, her family, even me for not speaking up sooner. I deserve a second chance, she wrote. After everything we've been through, don't you still love me? Can't we work past this? No, I didn't love her anymore. That realization was freeing. I finally responded with one sentence. I wish you well, but we're done. Please stop contacting me. Then I blocked her email address. Meanwhile, I focused on improving my life in ways I'd neglected during the relationship. I'd let myself go a bit. Stress eating those late-night takeout meals Nicole loved ordering, skipping the gym because she'd complain I was never home, not making time for hobbies because she needed me available for her schedule. Time to reclaim those parts of myself. Joined a gym near my apartment. Nothing fancy, just a solid local place with free weights and basic equipment. Started going religiously, 5 days a week, early mornings before work. The routine became meditative. Wake up at 5:30 a.m., take Buddy for a quick walk, hit the gym by 6, back home by 7:30 to shower and get ready for work. Nicole had always complained about early mornings, said I was inconsiderate waking up before her. Now I could be as loud as I wanted at 5:30 a.m. Started running in the mornings with Buddy on non-gym days. He'd needed more exercise for a while. Nicole was always too busy or tired to help walk him, so it had fallen to me to squeeze in quick 20-minute walks. Now we'd go for full hour-long runs through the neighborhood, Buddy loving every second of the freedom. He'd come home exhausted and happy, and I'd feel that runner's high that clears your head better than any other remedy. The physical activity helped clear my head, and the routine gave me structure. When you're coming out of a relationship, especially one that ended with that level of disrespect, you need structure. Need something you control, something that gives you measurable progress. Every week I could lift a bit more, run a bit farther, see the changes in the mirror. Tangible proof that moving forward was possible. Lost 15 pounds over 2 months, gained muscle definition I hadn't seen since college. Started feeling better in my clothes, standing straighter, making eye contact with people again instead of that defeated posture I'd adopted without realizing it. Nicole had this way of making you feel smaller over time, and I hadn't noticed how much I'd internalized that until I started building myself back up. At work, I threw myself into a major project, upgrading our entire security infrastructure across 3 office locations. Complex stuff involving new firewalls, enhanced encryption protocols, coordinating with multiple vendors, training employees on new systems. The kind of project that required intense focus and long hours, which was exactly what I needed. Better to think about subnet masks and authentication protocols than replay that wedding disaster in my head. Pulled some long hours, but the extra effort got noticed. I'd stay late running tests, come in early to coordinate with vendors in different time zones, Volunteer for the difficult problem-solving sessions that nobody else wanted. My boss, Terry, called me into his office about 6 weeks after the wedding. Blake, close the door. Have a seat. I sat, trying to read his expression. I'm promoting you to team lead. You've been absolutely killing it on this security project. We need someone reliable heading up the new cybersecurity division. Someone who shows up, does the work, doesn't create drama. Came with a significant raise, about $15,000 more annually, and my own office with windows overlooking downtown. Not bad for a guy who'd been called boring 6 weeks earlier. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate the opportunity. You earned it, Blake. Keep it up. I also started reconnecting with friends I'd neglected during the relationship. Nicole had always found reasons why we couldn't hang out with my college buddies. Your friends are so immature, she'd say. All they do is play games. Can't we hang out with people who have real interests? Real interests apparently meant her friends and Tyler. Turns out my friends were pretty great. My college buddy Mike organized weekly game nights. We'd order pizza, trash talk each other during Mario Kart, and actually laugh. The first time I went after missing months of invitations, Mike grabbed me in a bear hug. Where the hell have you been, man? We missed you. Long story, but I'm back now. Turns out my friends were pretty great. We started a weekly game night. Board games, video games, just hanging out without drama. It was refreshing. About 2 months after the wedding, my friend Derek invited me to join his hiking group. Every other weekend, they'd hit different trails around the area. I figured why not? Needed to get out of the city anyway. That's where I met Rachel. She was a marketing coordinator, late 20s, with this easy laugh and genuine smile. We ended up hiking together that first day. Both of us were middle of the pack pace, so we naturally fell into conversation. No games, no comparisons, no drama, just two people enjoying a trail and good conversation. We exchanged numbers, started texting about trails, then about other things. Movies, work, random thoughts. It felt natural in a way my relationship with Nicole never had. A few weeks later, I asked Rachel to dinner. Nothing fancy, just this Italian place near my apartment. She said yes without making it complicated. The date was easy. We talked for 3 hours without once checking our phones. She laughed at my IT jokes. Genuinely laughed. Not that polite courtesy laugh Nicole used to give. When I told her about my promotion, she high-fived me across the table. That's amazing. You must have worked your butt off for that. Simple recognition, but it felt incredible. Rachel and I started seeing each other regularly. Casual at first, just figuring out if this could be something real. She had her own apartment, her own career, her own life. Wasn't looking for someone to fund her dreams or fix her problems. Just wanted a partner. The difference was night and day. About 3 months after the wedding disaster, Derek's girlfriend threw a birthday party at a local venue downtown. Small gathering, maybe 30 people, casual vibe. Rachel and I showed up together. And there, somehow, was Nicole. I later learned she'd heard about the party through mutual friends and crashed it, hoping I'd be there. She spotted me immediately, eyes widening when she saw Rachel holding my hand. Nicole looked rough. Hair that used to be perfectly styled was limp and unkempt. The confidence she'd always carried was gone, replaced by this desperate energy. She approached us during a lull in conversation. "Blake," she said, her voice shaking. "Can we talk? Privately?" Rachel glanced at me, raising an eyebrow. I shook my head. "No need. Enjoy the party, Nicole. Please." She was practically begging now, ignoring Rachel completely. I've been a complete mess. Tyler was terrible to me, yelled at me, used me to make connections at the wedding, then ghosted me completely. I lost friends over that whole thing. Work's been a disaster. I can't focus on anything. She took a breath, tears starting. I realized what I had with you. How stupid I was. Can we start over? I'll do better. I promise. The words were hollow. She wasn't apologizing for how she'd treated me. She was upset that her backup plan with Tyler had failed. "Nicole," I said calmly, "you made your priorities clear at your cousin's wedding. Tyler fit better, remember? That same logic applies now. Rachel and I are building something real. You're not part of that equation." She looked at Rachel, really seeing her for the first time. "You moved on that fast? We were together 2 years. You moved on while we were still together," I pointed out. I just made it official. Rachel stayed quiet beside me, supportive but not interfering. The difference between her and Nicole was stark. Rachel respected boundaries, trusted me to handle my own history. "But I love you," Nicole's voice cracked. "Doesn't that mean anything?" "It means you learned a lesson," I said. "But my life's moved on. You should focus on yours." She stood there, mouth opening and closing, trying to find some angle that would work. Finally, she muttered something about me being cruel and turned away. Left the party about 10 minutes later. I didn't think about her again that night. Danced with Rachel, laughed with friends, enjoyed being exactly where I wanted to be. Rachel brought it up on the drive home. That was your ex from the wedding, right? Yeah. She seemed pretty desperate. She made her choice. I just made mine clearer. Rachel squeezed my hand. For what it's worth, I'm glad you walked away when you did. Shows you have self-respect. Thanks. So am I. It's been about 4 months since the wedding now. I heard through the grapevine that Nicole's still single. She lost her job at the design agency, something about missing too many deadlines, and ended up taking an entry-level position at her family's small business. Her parents apparently got the full story about the wedding eventually and weren't happy. Tyler? Last I heard, he moved to another city for a new sales position. Guess the local market got too awkward for him. As for me, the promotion's going great. I'm managing a team of 5 now, and we just completed that security infrastructure upgrade ahead of schedule. My boss is already talking about the next big project. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel and help us bring you more and better stories. Thanks.